right, how's it going? So I'm sitting here with Moritz from Lewitt Mics, and we've got the whole gang here. They're all just kind of off camera. Hi, everybody.
Hey there.
Okay, so they've got a new prototype microphone, kind of a world premiere thing here. This is going to be super cool. And you guys were saying this is something you've been working on for quite a while. This is kind of like your dream microphone or something like that.
Yes.
What is it? I'm really curious here.
Okay, so this year is Lewitt's 10th anniversary, and this project has been in the making for 10 years. Lewitt was founded with the vision to kind of change the status quo of microphones. Okay. We just don't believe that everything a microphone can do has been done already, and that's why we try to push the boundaries.
Yeah, I've definitely got some favorites. I really love what you guys do, like the 640 Rex kick drum microphone is one of my favorites. Your drum microphone set is absolutely awesome. I've got Lewitt stuff all over my, not only here in Hollywood, but my Windsor studio as well. They're just fantastic. But yes, please continue. Sorry.
Well, it's always good to hear. The vision for this project was to create the ultimate microphone system.
Okay.
Kind of a product that always works, kind of can adapt to different sound sources, and to kind of not only improve the sound, but also the whole workflow of the session. Because I think everybody can relate to the situation that sometimes, you swap out mics, doesn't work on this source, on the singer, whatever. And yeah, so that was the idea behind it. So how do you take it from there? We found that tube technology allows us to have different sound characteristics within one microphone. And if you think about the glowing tube, everybody thinks a little bit differently of it.
Right.
So somebody maybe thinks something warm or saturated or like hi-fi, like clear sound, and everything can be true. Yeah, so that's why we settled on 4 distinct tube characteristics for this microphone: clear, warm, saturated, and dark.
So this is something we can dial in then.
Kind of, yes.
Okay, how do you get clear and saturated at the same time?
Yeah. So it's different signal path.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's 4 distinct signal path.
Wow.
But with the LCT 940, if you want the most accurate signal from the 1-inch true condenser capsule, we also offer an FET circuit, and you kind of can blend between the 2 of those.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, hey, let's stop talking about it. Let's show it off. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so
right.
First time for everybody here.
Yeah.
Project 1040. Ooh, let's see what we get here. Oh, wow, that is freaking cool. We're definitely gonna have to get some B-roll shots here.
So one thing I want to mention here, as you said, it's a prototype.
Yeah.
It's a 3D printed prototype, something we constantly do, but usually we don't show it to the public.
Wow. Okay, that's super cool. It even says prototype on the side. Super light for a tube mic.
Yeah, because it's not metal yet.
Yeah.
It's still
very, very, very
printed.
Delicate. So yes, try not to drop this on the floor or anything like that. I'm sure they'd be
Please don't, because right now we only have 4 prototypes up and running. As with every tube microphone, you need a power supply.
Let's hold that up for the viewer. Oh, that's 3D printed as well. Oh, wow, this is like literally hot off the press. Holy crap. Okay, we got a remote, a couple different remotes, microphone, and then a FET and a normal.
Yeah, so I think the label came off here. This would say mix.
Okay.
As you mentioned before, you kind of have 4 distinct tube characteristics:
clear, warm,
saturated and dark. And we have the tube and the FET circuit, and you can blend between those.
Okay, that's pretty sick. And then, multi-pattern as well?
Yes, multi-pattern, seamless.
Stepped. Well, no, you've got detents.
Yes, detents, yeah. It's seamless, but it's detents, so you want to have
stereo. Okay, that's super awesome.
Yeah.
And then
low-cut filter, attenuation.
Good.
This can reverse the direction.
Okay, now attenuation's a big thing for me. I mean, I work with metal bands and whatnot, and usually your source is just way too hot everywhere, and all you're trying to do is just turn the gain down on everything, because digital's just so, got so much clarity. You can't bounce your signal, or you can't limit your signal like you would with tape or whatnot. And I find, especially with tracking drums or metal guitars or whatnot, you can't get the mic quiet enough. So, yeah, 18 dBs of attenuation right here. That's super cool. And in a sleep mode, very good. So, where would you recommend putting this? Out on the floor or in the control room?
Well, that's the perfect setup. With all this functionality, you don't really want to tell the musician, please turn this knob, change something else, or interrupt the flow of the session, go to recording room yourself. change it, you're not in the sweet spot anymore. So that's why this time we made a detachable remote.
Oh, come on! Are you kidding? That is freaking sick. Wow, so we can leave that out in the room.
This is in the recording room, and this is right here in your sweet spot.
And this is wireless controlled?
It's not wireless because reliability is key for us.
But
it's a standard 3-pin XLR, so it works through your studio wiring over your patch bay. 500 feet cable length.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, okay, great, I got to string a whole bunch of mic cables together. No, that's great. Holy crap. Somebody was really thinking about that. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally 10 years in the making. So, yeah.
That's fucking cool, man. Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's super useful. So all you got to do is combine that with say a Dynamount, on your cabinet, and you're all set to go.
But now, because usually we don't show these 3D printed prototypes in early stages to the public, just more in a closed circle,
right?
Where actually this whole project began. But now we kind of want to do a studio tour, show it to different people, get feedback,
right?
In order to work that feedback into this.
Okay.
Because the goal is really the ultimate microphone system, so we want to get all the feedback, tweaking the different sound characteristics, tube characteristics, maybe some of the functionality.
So my question is, how far are you guys away from production, do you think?
Well, this depends. I think it could be still 2020.
Okay.
But Project 1040, that's what we're calling this, is starting right now.
Okay.
And we're, going on a big studio tour. We're leaving this with some people to get feedback, to work this in.
Amazing.
And also on our website, you can follow the whole project. So that's, if I can plug it here.
Oh, yeah.
Lewitt-audio.com/project 1040.
Tell these guys what you want.
Yeah. And there you can follow the project and you see all the updates when we visit different studios and things like this. But also you can apply for beta testing yourself.
Oh, fantastic.
So it's really a community effort from the very beginning, just much smaller, in our hometown. And now it's getting bigger.
Now, normally this is where I'd cut to Alex on piano, but Alex had better things to do today. No, seriously, unfortunately, Alex isn't available today, so I don't know if we're going to do a grand piano thing or not. I'm trying to convince somebody to play something because I certainly can't. But what we might try doing is possibly an acoustic guitar, if I can find one in here. I'm going to mic up a cabinet. We got that wonderful Tony Iommi cab from Laney. That's pretty phenomenal. I'm thinking we should hook up a rev and just see what we can do with this thing and see where it goes. So let's do a couple quick clips and just get an idea for what it sounds like. Let's do a voiceover. Let's do a guitar cab and maybe an acoustic if I can find one. Anyway, let's cut to that right now. All right, so I moved over to the desk here. We've got that amazing Laney Tony Iommi cab mic'd up with the brand new Lewitt 1040 prototype. It's not production yet. I got all these guys. That's not ready yet. We've got the Spectre 7-string hooked up to a Rev 100P to that amazing Laney cab. And I'm just going to show you guys a couple of the differences we can get. Here's the basic tone we've got. That's, a little buzzy. And that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm pretty happy with that right now. That's in the clear mode. We're listening to the tube circuit right now. And if we take that over to warm, because it's a prototype, it takes a couple seconds for it to switch over. But if we do the same kind of thing, this is going to be a slight variation on the sound now. And that's pretty cool as well. We messed around with the saturated, and this is maybe a little over the top and doesn't quite suit it for metal guitars, definitely. But if I were going to, say, maybe mic up a bass cabinet, this might be pretty sick. This is a little much here, though. Just has that kind of super overdriven thing going on, say on the Paranoid solo from way back when. You could tell they overdrove that signal on the boards. Just kind of adds a little bit too much. You don't need to add more distortion to the heavily distorted tone in this case. But once again, on bass, I think it'd be really cool. These guys are saying they mic'd an upright bass with it, and that added some nice little bit of grit and some girth, and I think that's cool. But I think my favorite here is the dark mode. Bring that over, And this just kind of smooths out the top end on the guitars ever so slightly. Like we've got the presence up pretty high, treble on the amps backed off a little bit, but you know, it's just kind of getting that searing top end under control. I really like what this mic's doing to That's really cool. That's kind of the tone I'd like to put on a record. It's just got that wonderful, it's bright, but it's not piercing. I don't know what's going on here, but it's just kind of smoothing out the top just a little bit. Is it an EQ thing or is it just how the tube's saturating?
It's how the tube reacts.
Okay, thanks, Gabriel, for the little tip there. So it's just how the tube's reacting. And of course, we've got the FET circuit as well, and we can just switch that over. And this, once we switch this over to FET mode, this isn't going to affect it anyway, is it? No. So, but again, it's just another tone to work with, another kind of mode to work with on the whole tonal palette. You can hear a little bit of saturation there, like kind of maybe a little bit of overdrive. Or just something's kind of, farting out in the room here. I'm not sure exactly what's going on. But pretty damn cool. And we're going to go back to tube mode here. Now, if we put this into figure 8 mode, a multi-pattern on a guitar cab. I don't think I've really ever actually done this. I've been, 57s have usually been the way to go for me for a very long time. So this is kind of new territory for me. Okay, that's pretty sick. And if we go to Omni mode, we should lose a bit of that bottom end just because of the nature of the beast and proximity effect being what it is. And let's see what we get here. That's pretty cool too. It doesn't quite give you that nice overwhelming bottom that the figure 8 will. The thing about the figure 8 is, you remember, you're also miking up the back of the room, so you got to be careful there. If you've got a lot of resonances and a lot of reflections and whatnot, that can actually add a little bit of reverb to your sound, which isn't exactly what you want to go for when it comes to metal tone. That's pretty sick, though. I like that a lot. So I don't know. I might want to go with the figure 8. I'm on just stay in cardioid mode where it's just, aimed directly into the speaker, whatnot, but pretty damn cool. Like I said, I just love the fact that I've got the remote here and I'm tweaking the mic out and not having to run back and forth out to in front of the amp where the mic is and all that kind of thing. So, hey, cheers to Lewitt for being super clever with this design. I think that's absolutely amazing. And it's just running on a standard XLR cable, which is fucking awesome. Like, well done, guys, seriously. Super impressed with that. I gotta say, that's pretty sick. And if we go back to clear here, just for comparison, and check that top end again. So I think the winner on metal guitars here is definitely dark mode. That's super awesome. I'm just completely blown away by what this thing's doing. So we're gonna try this on maybe an acoustic guitar if I can find it, and maybe a voiceover as well. So we're gonna cut to that right now. Okay, so we've moved over to voiceover because we don't have an acoustic guitar in the studio, and quite frankly, I suck on piano, and my favorite piano player, Alex Nasla, is still in Corona this morning. So maybe we're gonna have to do a demo on that sometime in the future. But what I do have going right now is this amazing 1040 going into the Daking preamps down below, and then we're running into the simulated Empirical Labs distressor thanks to Universal Audio. So I just wanted to kind of show you guys a few of the different modes here. We've got it in tube mode and cardioid and clear, and that sounded pretty good. If we go to warm, and okay, so this is warm mode, same kind of idea. I'm noticing just even on the waveform, it's a little bit compressed, which is pretty cool. And let's go over to saturated mode. And this is saturated mode. Let's check this out. How does this sound? It might be good. Man, I might need this as my main channel for my voiceover when I do the next episode of Stupid Musician Texts. But seriously, that's kind of neat. And like I said, on the dark mode here, we're going to switch over here. And now we switched over to dark mode. Not sure how that's going to work in voice. I'm just taking a wild guess. But I really, really like it on metal guitars. I think it's super cool. If we roll this back to, say, a blend between tube and FET. Here we are. This is the FET and tube blend right here. And that should be pretty neat. And we go full FET. So this should be the full FET version now. Again, this is all just real subtle shifts in tone, and this is a great way how to get a lot of mileage out of one mic. You can use it in different modes on different sources. So when you go to mix, it's going to be, all your tracks will fit together that much easier. Got to remember, this is for subtle shifts. This is not an effects pedal. This isn't a distortion pedal or anything like that where you're going to get massive change in your tone. This is just for real subtle shifts. And again, it's just to kind of get your tracks to work together with each other a lot better. So I'm going to go back over to the full tube mode here. And while we're making that transition, I'm going to take it into Omni mode. I'm going to show you guys what that does. And again, we should have just lost the proximity effect. Proximity effect is when you get closer to the mic, the bass increases. This should be significantly less pronounced now. But when you go into a super tight cardioid pattern, like a hypercardioid, which we have over here, that's going to give you massive proximity effect. Test 1, 2. I don't know if this is kicked over yet. So this is hypercardioid. And again, figure 8 mic, it does that as well. So if you got two vocalists and you want to get them to work off each other in the control room, you can do that. And let's check that out. This is figure 8. And if I go on the back here, should be identical. I don't have a pop filter here, so I'm not going to say the P's and K's and D's, because that's going to just sound like crap. So seriously, though, this is the back capsule. This is the front. They should be nearly identical. Of course, I can't reference anything because I didn't bother putting headphones on, but whatever. I just really like the idea of being able to tweak this out right at the desk and not have to run back and forth. I think that's a massive boost in convenience. It's kind of like, getting your amp heads into the control room and leaving your cabinets out there, and you can just tweak the amp, at arm's reach. When I first built my studio, I had to run back and forth, and it was a giant pain in the ass. Anyway, so we're going to wrap that up in just a sec. We're going to go back to the main shot. All right, so that is the Project 1040. I got to say, massive points to these guys for clever thinking to actually be able to remote control this in your control room and have the rest of the mic out and do its thing there, and you don't have to run back and forth. That's just amazing. I'm super impressed with that. So there you go. You can check it out at Lewitt Mics. I'll have a link in the description below, but you want to check out Project 1040. If you're interested, maybe you can get in on the beta test program, but I got a feeling this thing is just going to be absolutely stellar once it hits production. Anyway, thanks again for watching. Check them out, and until next time, get out there and make some metal, motherfuckers.